You can control your feelings. So we all have this power within us to control our feelings. It's something that's extremely powerful, but at the same time, it's extremely hard to do because our feelings are always generally tied to things that really have an impact and things that have really put impressions on us. However, we do have the power to control our feelings. So the way that I would like to explain the feelings is you don't just get a feeling. There's something that is created that gives you that feeling, and generally, well, not generally, but it always starts with a thought. So this, your feelings all begin as thoughts. Whether it's your thought or somebody else's thought, it's a thought. So from the thoughts, these will generally you'll have some type of an action from that thought. Whether that action is in real life or the action is in your head, again, it's some type of action that you associate to that thought that is real. And then from the action of the thought, you react. So that's where you develop your feelings, whether it makes you happy and you feel happy, it's sadness, or it makes you mad. But it all starts with our thoughts. So for instance, something you could be having, we'll go kind of to the not good thoughts and say that, you have a rough day. So you have a rough day and you will go and you'll turn the action into, being in a mean tone with the people that you love. So you had a rough day, mean tone, and then what that does is the feeling is of anger. And that's the basic cycle of how the feelings come. And the thing about feelings is a lot of the time we have the negative feelings, but we can honestly choose not to have those. We can choose to go more along with nature and only have the good, empowering feelings that are just present in nature everywhere. Nature is always for, if you look around, it's always for fuller expression, for expansion, for growth. For instance, the grass doesn't try to grow, it just grows. And fish, they just swim. They don't try to swim. They just swim, and they're perfectly happy in their environments. And it's always for, it's always to grow and, have continue the life cycle. It's always for more. But us as humans, sometimes we lose track of that. We don't realize that we're meant to always be more, which just in the abundance, thinking of it in abundance, you can never really have negative when you think of from a more mindset. It's more for everybody, more for you, more for me. So to allow negativity to come in, that's really going against the things that, the essence of our beings. We're the only beings on this earth that give the are able for thought, to think the way that we do. Therefore, we are given the ability to choose our environment. The fish are not, they're perfectly at home in their environment. The birds are perfectly at home in their environment. They don't have the choice. They don't have the choices that we do to go out and try to make our own environments. So, for humans, it's a blessing, and then it could be a curse for some, especially if you don't take a step back and really start to understand that there are these laws. And if you start following through them, and you can start to improve your life. And one of the big things, and what I'm talking about now, is the feelings. And a big thing on feelings, it's, the way that we feel about ourselves inside. That's one thing. But a lot of what the feelings that we have inside are from things from the outside. And that would be, somebody says something to you, like I mentioned before, but it's also that these fake things that we come up with in our own minds about, a circumstance. We can be our own worst enemy when we're sitting there overthinking something. Something happens. Let's say something happens at work, and you feel like, inside maybe there was something that you could have done. After the fact, you see that hey, I could have done this to make that better. Which we're all human, and that's part of the growth is you understand those things, and then you remember those for the next time that you come across that, and you're able to fix that. But what we'll do is we'll have that, and then we'll start to be hard on ourselves. We'll say, oh, I can't believe that I missed that. And then the real bad part is we start to play out in our minds what other people think of us, even though nobody else may even realize made the realization that we have about the thing that we had missed. But we're already racing to that worst case scenario to say, oh, well, they're gonna, what are they gonna think? They're gonna think I don't know what I'm doing, or they're gonna think, these negative things. And that's an emotion and a feeling that can, if it goes unchecked, that can take you down a very bad place within yourself. And that's not you doing that to you're allowing it to do to yourself, but really what it is you're letting the outside world really come in and dictate, what you're doing on your inside world. And think about it. How many times have you had that instance where you've allowed yourself to think like that, and then you come to find out, you talk to whoever it is that you've got these wild things going in your mind about, that you think is going to look down upon you for some reason, and it's not even a big deal to them. You bring it up to them and they just kind of laugh it off, and then you can step back and realize, well, wow, those are the moments where you can learn within yourself, because you have to be able to do it and really go through the feelings to have a better understanding of these things. But once you understand that it's not a big deal to them, and all those things that you made yourself believe in your own mind are all false. That happens so much. I know it happens a lot in my life. So one big thing that I try to focus on, especially when it comes to the feelings and being able to control my feelings, is to identify those instances where I'm letting my mind run wild on all of the what ifs. And that's a sign of me caring about what, the external forces coming to me more than I really should. What I need to do is and what we all need to do is just understand that we are human, and we're not going to be perfect in our actions. So it's okay not to have everything perfect, but at the same time, don't let the what ifs even really enter into your mind. You just have to say, I'm doing the best that I can. And then if you feel like the what ifs are going to start to come into your mind, one powerful thing, and if you're unable just to keep them out, because again, it's a hard thing, is to just go and confront the what ifs right away. Like if you start to feel like, oh, well, they're going to think this, or that person's going to think that, the best thing that you can do is just head on, go take action, talk to that person and see. And then, and then from there, you don't have to sit there and allow yourself to spiral out of control with these thoughts of what if. You have to go out and talk to them, ask them, whatever it is that's on your mind. Don't let it sit there and be on your mind, because it more than likely, it's not even a fact. It's something that you're making up and you're doing to yourself. And then one thing that I'm working on is to understand that I am doing those things to myself, and I admit it's extremely hard, but through a process of just, I'm just continuing to remind myself when I start to feel a certain way about something, that I'm creating that, and that's not, I have no proof of that. And that's what I continue to tell myself. And it does help a little bit, and it's a journey, it's a progress, but that's something that as we work on, it'll get better and better. And then that also comes with just, truly knowing that you're doing the best that you can, and you have the best of intentions. As long as you always have the best of intentions in everything that you do, then you have nothing to worry about. You're doing and you're living your life the good way. It's when your intentions aren't from a good place, that's when, it'll become even harder to get out of these spirals of what are the people going to think, because now you have to, in order to get past that, you would have to start lying to yourself to say that, I'm doing good. So really, when it comes to feeling, it's always good to be able to start with, with your core base of being a place that's just good and wanting to do good and wanting more. It's all about, again, back to the nature. It's all about wanting more, not just for yourself, but for everybody, everything that we encounter, everybody on this planet. It's all about just wanting them to have more. And one I guess, easier, well, not really easy, but one thing to do to really take hold of your feelings is whenever, and this is something that I do, I do it at least once a day, but I'll stop myself and I'll if I do this in the morning, but also if I feel like something's bothering me or something's just not right within myself, I'll stop myself throughout the day, and then I'll just find a quiet spot, I'll close my eyes, and I'll think about, I'll bring people into my mind, people that are close to me, and then I'll just kind of start sending them love, through my mind. And it's, I picture it, the love as being like an energy wave, I guess you'd say, that you're able to send. So I just envision that. I think about the people, I think about, just the goodness when I'm thinking about them. And then I'll just sit there and do that until whatever is racing through my mind isn't in my mind anymore. And sometimes it's quick, sometimes, it takes a little bit of time, but I'll sit there and then I'll do that. And then at the end of that, you're going to come out of that, and whatever that feeling that you had is going to be off to the side. And what you're doing is you're bringing in those feelings of goodness, the feelings of love. Those are the most powerful ones. And if you're able to stop yourself in the moment of, negativity or feeling down on yourself, and start to think about just good things, that's the very first step to really changing your life. Because the more of that type of a mindset and that type of a frequency and vibration that we put ourselves into, I'm a believer of what you put out, you're going to get back in. So if you're always thinking and putting out those negative thoughts, that's what you're attracting to yourself in your life. But if you're able to stop yourself, identify, remember that you don't want to have those negative thoughts, and then start to put yourself in a good, positive mindset, well, then you're going to stop, that you're going to start getting more of the good and stop with the negative. And then another thing is to really take a step back in your life and just look at the things on a daily basis that maybe don't make you feel good, that make you, kind of be like, oh, or whatever it is. It could be something as simple as, a decoration even that's on a shelf, or a picture on the shelf that every time you see it, it just makes you feel not good or uneasy. If you have any small things in your life that cause anything like that, that is very powerful to do whatever you can to get those things out of your life, because you don't need, the small things to continue to bring in the negativity thoughts into your mind. Because depending on, your programming, once you get negative thoughts in your mind, you may not be able to shake them. There's times where they can just come in, they can grab hold, and everything just feels hopeless, and it's not. And you just have to realize through that like blanket of hopelessness that you feel, that it's not, you don't have to accept that you are, in essence, you're allowing, you're pulling that blanket on yourself. So you can rip it off, and you can just force yourself to think positive and do whatever you can to get your mind into the positive mindset. And it's not easy. At first it's not easy, but the more that you practice it, the more that you do it, the easier it'll become. And the more happiness and goodness that you have in your mind about your life, the more happiness and goodness that you're going to realize in your life. And that's just the way that life works. So I want to thank you for watching the video. I hope that you were able to get something from this. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.